No, this is stupid.
How do you know that? Yeah.
This is stupid and might ruin the whole scene, but I would love if she handed her a birthday invite and then ripped it in front of her like the tear.
Do the hero
kill
you
you.
thing? Yeah. Yeah.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Stoneface Reactions. I'm Theta, this is Lessons, and we are back with another episode of Macross Delta. I guess I should preface this that it's been a while since we've recorded an episode of Macross. So if there's a little bit of distance between the thoughts that we have and the thoughts that we may have had last episode that you saw us watch, that's why. Let's see, we have notes and we got a board, so typically the first thing that we do is the board. Alright, so of course we had the board changelog. I connected Theo and Zal with a blue line. I added Robert Aquino, connected him to A-Rad with a green line, connected him to Hayato with a white line. I added Wright Immelman and connected him to Hayato with a blue line. I guess conceivably I could have connected Robert Kino to Wright with a red line, but I don't know if that's an actual animosity towards the person or animosity towards something that they did, which would be different conceptually.
Right element. And keeping with names of either fighter pilots or important people in aviation, Hayate's father's name is Wright Immelman.
Immelman.
Yeah, because of course it is.
I mean, would you prefer his name was Orville Immelman?
Well, the Wright brothers, so it's Orville and what's the other name? Wilbur, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. What would your preference be? Wilbur Immelman? I mean, to be fair, that's a dad name if I've ever heard one. I mean, that sounds like a dad name now. Maybe not so much in 2067.
Wilbur?
No, that would be if Hayate's name was Wilbur.
Yeah.
Because now you're imagining an imaginary dad shouting this dad's name.
Yeah. Keith Edo. Wow, that couldn't be more in the nose. And I heard the complete name, I'm like, really? He's literally Keith Air Windermere.
I mean, we've known his name for a long time now, though.
But not the full name.
Well, we have, actually.
Son of a whore. I mean,
son of a whore?
No.
That's what you just said.
Courtis. Yeah, I was going to say son of a whore. No, it's not son of a whore. It's a sort of courtis. Not even a courtesan. Mistress of the king. What's the name? The official name of a mistress of a king. Concubine. Yeah.
Literally, it's a note that I have, so just like scroll down one up, concubine.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, you know, it's the conversation that we had in the last G-Quix episode where you were calling her a prostitute, and I was like, maybe she's a concubine or a consort. Seems a bit high class for what you were describing.
Same job.
It's not really. See, again, I'm reacting to a lot of Apothecary Diaries, which deals with a lot of consorts and concubines.
Apparently,
there are girls on the street that are prostitutes, and they are not as well off as the consorts and concubines.
Apparently, high level or mid level Xeon officers visit this place, but that's a tale for another day.
Oh, sorry, you're talking about G-Quix still. I was just going on the difference between the two. Well, sorry. There's a whole thing about like venereal disease and whatnot that you have to be on the lookout for, and how different like houses, I guess technically that does apply to G-Quix, handle the ability to keep their girls safe from these sorts of things, whereas people that are just out on their own might not have that. Yeah, so different levels of things. So you said Xeon officers, and I'm still looking at the Macross Delta board. I'm like, what the hell is going on? Lala created the multiverse.
It's interesting. It's interesting that we never see any of these women in the palace. I guess oh god, I'm gonna stop. I was thinking of something, and I'm gonna stop because.
Are you still talking about Gundam? Because I'm still very confused.
No, I'm back. I'm back on Macross.
Well, no, because I see your mouse is hovering over that dead pilot, and it's like you said, we never see these women in the palace. You're talking about the king, and the concubines. So yeah, I was just lost. Yeah. I'm also zoomed out pretty far, so
something came in my mind. I was like, you know what? No, I don't need to go
I'm
there. No.
assuming that you're moused over the guy's named after Death or something.
Ula.
Gula, yeah. Death. I have the Death association with Ghoul.
Yeah. So yeah, those are my comments on the board, such as they are.
All right. Well, we also have notes. I believe you came with one more than I did, which means you go
Yeah.
first.
Yeah, all of them are pretty short, so I think we're going to go through these pretty quickly. Episode 15, Parting Resolution. First note, at least we know the source of Boga's rage. Dead family all around. Literally, he goes, I was
Actually,
going to
you're
visit his
wrong.
family.
You're
Huh?
wrong. His dead family's all in one spot.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I'm not, no, yeah, another, no, yep, sure.
You wanted to
Right
make a
there.
play on words? I'll play these words with you.
They're right there. Yeah. Okay.
Well, I mean,
Absolutely right.
technically,
Yeah.
my first note kind of plays into the same thing, except you focused on Bogue. And I just had a general appreciation for the entire squad coming together.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate that we spent the start of the episode showing how the Knights are motivated by loss. 4 of them visiting the crater where so many Windermerians had died. Regardless of who did it, it's still a palpable loss to these people. And then Bogue, who seemingly lost his parents and 3 of his sisters. Always the energetic and emotional one, now having a somber moment. It was a good scene to cast our antagonists in, ironically, in an all too human light.
Okay, so my note there. On also a note on that Muning. It's like too late to lament the use of enslaving technology to win your victory. I think one of the knights goes like, "Well, it wasn't very honorable to use bars, but I guess it worked." So like, okay.
I didn't read it as lament. I mean, like there's lament. They do lament something later, like when they're in the middle of a other fight at the end of the episode. But I saw that it was the acknowledgement of a necessary evil. I was gonna write a whole note about how I'm on the Windermerian side now, but then I recognized that they do essentially their own. This is very much Gundam.
Yeah.
The second half of this show is going real Gundam. Like, I acknowledge what the Windermerians are doing and why they're doing it, but there's also the element of maybe we went too far. Like, at the same time, I don't know how far too far is if you're actively being oppressed.
But the thing is, I think the problem is, okay, you liberated your planet. They're not attacking your planet anymore. We don't see any signs that they're having a blockade or they're buying products
It's an
from you, so like
informational
that.
blockade.
It's more, well, I think what it is that they claim that what happened, their version of events has been ignored or suppressed.
Let me ask you real quick before you get into it. Do you have a note about this later? Because I do.
No, I don't.
Yeah, I don't think it's good to separate this out. 7 years.
Besides talking about the lament of enslaving technology win your victory, and
No.
your
I
next
was
note.
saying here. You just read yours, didn't you, or was that mine?
Yeah, I just read it. Yeah.
Since we're trying to get into that subject, I'll just read my note about that. Royd says that for 7 years they've tried to call attention to what was done to them, but were suppressed by the UN government. But right now, they are broadcasting video of that event to every network across the galaxy. Why now, and not 7 years ago? It felt like the UN government had a fairly minimum presence in the cluster before. In terms of being about to suppress the broadcast, I mean. Maybe I'm misreading it, and that was the entire point, fighting back, pushing the UN government onto the back foot so that they couldn't suppress the broadcast anymore, and to let the galaxy know what they had done. Then that would be how they would force their way to the negotiating table. The UN can no longer hide its crimes with blanket suppression. Now they'll have to talk about it.
Except that there's that conversation that he had with the prime minister of the cat planet, right? Cat people planet, when he says, "Oh, I heard that you use these kind of weapons even on your friends." And Royd is like, He doesn't answer either way. He doesn't
Again,
say,
it's
that
it's
never
an
happened.
element, the same element that we were talking about a minute ago about the VARs, necessary evils.
Yeah, but if you have a strong point on your favor, like, oh no, the nuns are totally the people who did that. Like,
Also, I think it's two
I'm not
different
gonna
factors.
comment.
Two different factors that are at play here. I'm arguing on the I'm on the side again of Xeon independence, right? When it comes to Gundam, I'm on that side of the faction. Now we have Royd, who has this whole proto culture. We are going to take our place in the galaxy, sort of thing, which is a different. He is the Giran of the series. I'm talking about the conversation at the start of the episode. We're going to get our place at the negotiation table, and from there, we're going to declare independence of the cluster, and we're going to be done. And then we can go back to our families, and we can do everything that we want to do again. And then Royd is like, we are not done. We are going to push this to the end. Again, Giran. So, from the perspective of Royd having that conversation on the cat planet, that's fucking Giran talking about how great Hitler was. It's just not the point that I'm leaning into. However, it is a reality of the political situation of the government of the Windermerians. So it's not what I'm talking about, but I acknowledge it exists. It is a difficulty in wagering the two things, but I also foresee that we're going to lose a couple of the Windermerians who are going to fight against this.
Oh, yes, to my knowledge. So the White Knight lost an eye, got off lightly, all things considered. In fact, he even becomes better at fighting later on.
Well, they can see the wind, right? So how much of that is actual vision? Seems like it is mostly vision.
Yeah.
But it seems like aura reading or bullshit like that.
Mm-hmm.
But he's like, I can see the wind, and he just sees like glowing auras around the ships, and it's like, well, they're not moving or anything. How is this helping you?
Yeah, well, I think it's supposed to be part of the whole fold. They call it fold gene or something like that. So they're seeing the ripples of fold energy around these ships, and that's what he's reading, right?
Well, I'm just saying, how is it helping?
Well, I guess it's real objects create an effect in fold space, and he can use that to predict them, right?
I could see that if they were moving, but they aren't. They're just circles. There's circles around them not doing anything.
Yeah, that's a ship. And then when they fire the drone, missile drone things, like he can see them all. It's like, yep. And
no, we don't see that though. When he says, "I can see the glow," or "I can see the wind," and then they give us a visual of the wind. It's just solid things. Like the ships aren't moving. You can already see the ships. Mm-hmm. Your glow thing isn't moving either. Like if you were about to say real objects have a thing. And it's like, okay, cool. If they were doing holographic fights, and he's like, oh, I can tell which ones are holographs and which ones aren't. That didn't play either. He got tricked by fucking holograms earlier. Like, none of this makes any sense. They could have done something cool with it. Like, you watched SAO. I think we had this conversation.
Yeah, the first and second season, yeah.
Second season. Well, you didn't watch Gun Gale Online?
Third season. Yeah, it went through the third season.
The predictive lines. If they'd done the predictive lines of Gun Gale Online, that would have been something. Like, oh, I understand this. I've seen Gun Gale Online.
Yeah. I think that's what they're going for, but the visuals are not as effective.
It doesn't make any sense to me.
Anyway, your next point then.
So it seems that Royd's plan, this is back to my second note before we find out what Royd actually does later. So remember that I write these in the order that I see them. So it seems that Royd's plan was to force negotiations for the cluster's independence by any means, at least according to the Knights. They seem to believe that the VAR was distasteful but necessary, while at the same time hoping for those negotiations with the UN government. That was a bit of a surprise, given the strong anti-human sentiment that they've been giving off so far. That they ultimately don't want to fight forever and rule everything. To them, this is just a short-term thing in order to secure a seat at the table to be able to make their own place in the galaxy. Granted, it seems more likely that Royd is going Giran on this, but it still feels good to get that sentiment from the rank and file.
I mean, it makes sense. They live short lives, so they would want to experience within their lifetimes real freedom for their people, right? A continuous war is like they could die and never see the fruits of their labor. Also, if their aim really was independence, yeah, they could be xenophobic, like, get off my lawn, you human scum. Doesn't mean that they want to go all the way to Earth and say, okay, now we got to either wipe them out or rule over them. It's like, we don't want to deal with
I
this
mean, I
shit.
got a future note about how awkward that was when the
Yeah,
statement gets given and how some of them react. But, very
yeah,
specific, like Hellman is like, you never know when you're gonna die, so take any moment you can, go visit your families and whatnot. Because, what's his name? The guy who looks like a Windemirian Indian for some reason,
yeah,
is like, oh, I'm not visiting my family until the war is over. It's like, you never
mm,
know.
yeah.
So,
Uh,
those are the two, by the
also,
way, that I'm gambling on are gonna fight back against this whole Royd plan.
I think it's the idea that, um, yeah, you could probably secure the cluster, but eventually you're taking on an entire galaxy. And the humans have a propensity on taking on horribly powerful things and consistently winning, taking horrible casualties and then winning.
Only
It's
when they're
like,
the protagonists. Our protagonists aren't the UN spacey government right now. They're like Frontier, or they're this
but
mercenary
I say
group.
humanity, none
No,
like,
no, no. I'm indicating to you my thought on
yeah.
this, which is that when humanity wins, our main characters are part of that. SDF Macross, Hikaru was part of essentially the military. He's part of the government. So when we win, well, actually, we didn't really win. We got fucking annihilated and then found peace afterwards. But um, yeah, when humanity wins, it's because our protagonists are there at the front line. When we
Yeah.
win in the show, our protagonists are doing something else, Asamu beats Sharon Apple because Asamu's part of that storyline, not some guy, some human guy from nowhere didn't defeat Sharon
No,
Apple.
I mean, another way of saying that is these are the stories when humanity wins, and these are the characters that are the heroes of those fights. But you can still see it from a distance. Like, you're not going to single that guy. It's like, oh, they only won because they have protagonist photo armor. It's like, no, humanity nearly got wiped out by the Centrati. We're able to turn millions of the Centrati against the other Centrati and beat the main force of Centrati,
That's
and
what
then
I'm
expand.
indicating, though. That's what I'm indicating
Yeah,
towards. This isn't the human spirit always overcomes. No, the human spirit has only ever overcome, I guess specifically when the Vajra and the Centrati, because our main characters were present. There's been no threat that we've overcome where the main characters weren't present. I would say that there's no background stories where, oh, did you hear? There was this galaxy invasion on the edge of the galaxy, but thank God there was a human fleet there. No, because the show would have been there if that was happening. I understand what you're saying, that it's not just plot armor or something that the show is trying to indicate to us that humans will always win the day or some bullshit like that. And I don't think it's that. I think this is big man history, and that the camera's always there for it.
I mean, yeah, but
It's not
even if
humanity, it's a select group of people.
yes, but the way it looks from the outside, I mean, from these nights, like, oh, we're gonna take on the entire galaxy. These humans might be scummy. And also they're perfectly willing to use weapons of mass destruction. So, yeah, I think getting a strong position here and walling off our garden and letting them do whatever they want somewhere else, that's perfectly fine, right? There's always a risk that not only you lose, but the bigger you go, the bigger the risk you're going to lose big. The more of a threat you become, the more desperate the humans become. And when the humans become desperate, they're like, we could blow up a planet or two. We don't really
I mean,
care.
once again, I don't know why you keep throwing out humans. It's humans and Centrati and all these
True.
other fucking races now. It's the Federation. It's like,
Yeah.
at the same time, I would say this is more like Ultima 6, right? This is the inversion of those very traits that you're saying is the greatest ability of the humans. It's just now it's being shown in reverse. What do you mean the humans are dropping bombs on these people? What do you mean we're planting a nuke? You know that super bad thing that we had to
Uh-huh.
like get clearance for in the past and all this other shit?
Yeah.
Yeah, now we're just doing that. The elements that made us a great group in the past is now inverted, and we're seeing now, like last episode, from the other side, what people on the receiving end of that think about humanity. Literally, the gargoyles from Ultima 6.
Yeah. But still, I mean, it's the thing is like you. What I'm saying is that it makes sense for them going back to the original concept that you want to end this war as quickly as possible, and pushing beyond that, even if you are xenophobic, makes sense. Like, you know what? We live short lives. We want to enjoy our freedom. We already had a hard fight, and if you keep provoking the humans, eventually something worse is going to
I mean,
happen.
again,
Right?
that's the point of the VARs thing. It's
Yeah.
distasteful but
But
necessary because we're trying to indicate to them we can hurt you, negotiate.
until it doesn't work, and then
Well, it
oops.
has yet to not work. I mean, it has. I think I was right. The double negatives keep throwing me up. It has yet to. The fold barrier thing did not stop anything from
Yeah.
happening. It's not a good defense. Well, it's not a good defense because it's an unshielded defense. One guy in a fighter ran up there and took you out.
Anyway, to my next point, I guess. So Keith and Heinz are half siblings. How many concubines did the king have? Explains why Keith wasn't in the line of succession. Like we've been discussing back and forth, like, oh, the king has to be a wing singer, whatever. It's like, no, it's just he's the older sibling, but apparently not from the queen. Therefore,
I mean, I don't know why you're indicating that he has many concubines. How many does he have?
I guess
At least
many.
one.
I just making a question is how many would he have? He could have one. He could have had 1,000,000. I don't know. We don't see any of them, so it doesn't matter.
Well, I'm going to skip one note then just to respond to yours with my literally similar note. Keith is the son of the late king's concubine, I guess implying that the king did have a wife at some point to have made Heinz the legitimate heir. Regarding Keith, though, in the card ride over, Royd had a conversation with him that dead-ended for us, but clearly continued past the point of our focus. When Heinz asks him about serving together as brothers, the camera pans back to Royd in silent regard to what I can only think to be the subject of whatever the conversation may have been about.
But I thought it was like Battle Brothers because it was like they flow together, and the knights early on was like, oh, even they who were very young had to go into the fight, right? And we see them like a crash fighter, and
No,
he's
this is
beating
the
one from the other.
conversation about Heinz wanting his brother to rule with him as brothers.
Yeah.
Not the conversation you're thinking about, which is a little bit later, where Heinz is like, I used to watch you and I knew exactly which one you were.
No, I'm talking about the limo where Royd and Heinz are talking, and Royd's actually asking Heinz for his support as an actual leader of
My
the country.
interpretation of that, and I haven't written this down anywhere. My interpretation in that is that Keith says, I'll support Windermere, so long as you don't betray Windermere, I'll keep doing whatever needs to be done, and that Royd has a conversation that literally dots, and we pan out from the car, and then when Heinz is like, I want you to serve with me, the camera pans back to Royd behind Heinz, as if to say the topic of conversation, as Keith thinks for a moment, and clearly my thought process is, Royd said, this is what I'm about to say, do you have any problems with this? And Keith now knows what's about to go on, and must fully support it, based on his turning down of his brother, his going out there and doing what he does later in the episode. So I'm assuming the pan back to Royd is to say, what's about to happen, this is why Keith is saying now what he's saying, and that Keith is fully on board, more on board than the idea of serving with his brother.
Which goes to what I was saying about, but basically Keith wanted was to have his support because apparently he's a popular character, even though he's not the king or in line of succession.
You mean Heinz?
Heinz, yeah. Royd to Heinz, yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant Heinz to Keith.
I was trying to say, and I misspoke, was Royd to Keith. That he wanted to secure his support, which is what we talked about.
Right, and that's the whole thing that I was just going on about, but I thought you meant when you serve next to me, that Heinz wanted his brother's support in that moment.
Yeah. Your next note. Oh, you said your next note.
Yeah, that was my note, so it's your note now.
Okay, if you know how to fix this, would you care to share with the rest of the class, Mikumo? Because he's like, oh, I have an idea how to fix this. And the camera cuts away. I'm like, yes, it's a trope of an unstated plan has a much greater set.
No, I don't remember what you're talking about.
Okay, they're doing the whole coronation. They cut back to the colony ship. The leader of Walco goes in and talks to Mikumo, and it's like, "Oh, how's
Oh,
the fight
the
going?"
fingernail
Yeah,
scene. Yeah,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. How's this going? And she's like, "Yeah, I have an idea. How do we defeat this?" And she's like, "Okay," and then cut. I'm like, I guess it's a trope. It's an unspoken plan is supposed to work.
I mean,
As
literally, I
opposed
was
to,
just talking to you about the Royd conversation not finishing in the car, so it's
yeah.
back to back that.
So it's like, okay, like to know something about it. I suspect it's sing harder, basically, or sneak themselves into one of these ruins and have Mikumo get direct connection to whatever is actually behind them. So,
Well, I mean, I have a completely different Mikumo note here, which would have been my next one up now since I go back up and down the list. Royd was looking at pictures of Mikumo on his ride to the estate. I'm still thinking she might be the last of the protoculture, given Royd's obsession with them and his dislike for human culture. It would give context for him having an obsession with her, unless it's something stupid, like he's actually a secret fan or something. By secret fan of the Walkir, I mean, not of just her. Because the two pictures he looks at is one of, oh shit, what's her name? Mikumo and Kaname, Buccaneer.
okay, I'm
But
looking here.
Mikumo's in the picture. And then
Yeah.
he's looking at a single picture of just Mikumo. So I think the two things together is that Mikumo's in both of those pictures. He's just looking at Mikumo.
This is directly to what the big Royd speech is like. To defeat our enemy, we will become like them. Yeah. When does that ever really work, Royd? We will free the galaxy by enslaving it.
I mean, to be
The
fair,
next note.
you could
You could what?
you could take over the galaxy as the masters of the galaxy and not be horrible. So my last note. So yeah, clearly what the conversation in the car must have been about. Royd laying out his plans for the Windemirian future, also explaining the Knights' shock at the announcement. Like I said, they were hoping for negotiations and independence. This, to them, must seem like a massive escalation, especially when they wanted this to be over so that they could return to their families. Their confusion to acceptance halfway through Royd's speech is confusing for that reason. They go from disbelief to straight up cheering for it in like half a second. Now,
Not all of
pointedly,
them do.
yes, I know it. Cassim and Hellman don't. It's Bogue that's confusing the hell out of me, but for some reason I decided not to go back and edit. Because Bogue is like, what? Yeah! It's like, what the fuck, Bogue? You're the one with the most dead people that you visited today.
But I think it's also he's always had a hard on to punish the humans for what they've done. That he's the most extremist of all, right?
But
It's like,
very
I want
specifically,
to kill people. Yeah.
very specifically, previously in one of my other notes, I'd mentioned the fact he's energetic and emotional, but he was also on board with the negotiation plan. I mean, obviously, he's the one with nobody to go back to. And obviously, also, not for nothing, I don't think we discussed it yet, of some highborn privilege. He's the only one with, like, a family plot and everything.
That we know of.
Well, everybody else talked about everyone that they went back to see. Like,
Yeah.
Hellman is here, like, throwing feathers into the crater. Bogue is the one visiting a grave.
Yeah.
So one assumes that Hellman lost everybody and didn't even get, what do you call it? One of those representational things you put into a cemetery.
The mausoleum?
No.
Headstone?
I guess it could just be a headstone. I was thinking more like what Bogue has, essentially. You know, Bogue has, like, a headstone with, like, a representational, but it's more artistic. Like,
that sounds pretty much.
My family resides
yeah.
here, but there's no actual dead bodies or anything.
Yeah. I mean, they probably got disintegrated, so oops.
That's what I'm saying, that Hellman is giving his last respects at the crater. Bogue, conceivably, lost everybody at once, too. Has a place to go, and seems more high class than, not high class, high
Higher
society?
class.
Oh, high society is the one I keep wanting to go to, but that's not That's also high class, you say in that context. High society is like, oh, he's high society. No, that's not what I'm talking about. He's high in the social ranks, is what I'm trying to get at. With
He is of a higher class, I think. Not high class, in a higher class.
He's higher in the social stratum, whatever terms we
Yes.
want to use.
Yeah.
Or at least that's what's being indicated to me. And that's my takeaway from Bogue's element of mourning.
My final note. So Mulder's knew of Hayate's father, and the way the other pilot responded seems like that was not a good thing, implying perhaps that the father was a traitor.
I would assume that he is somebody, based on your own previous note, not this episode, previous episode, not a co-conspirator or anything, but somebody who helped them research. Remember how you pointed out the fact that he sent back stuff to Hayate from all of the planets that had the stuff at it, which says to me that he was a human researcher doing protoculture research or something like that, because why else would he have been at all those sites? And maybe the only way he could have done that was with the Windermerians. So he could be seen as a co-conspirator into this Windermerian uprising, but not actually be a part of it. Although actually, Mother was a medic and he was a soldier, so maybe he refused to fight?
Probably. Or the mother broke lines and tended to the wounded.
Yeah, but the anger is towards his father.
Father, yeah.
Didn't mention the mother. Yeah, it's just like he was clearly a soldier, and the fighting would have been happening. I don't think his father would have. Well, maybe his father sided with the Midmers. We have literally no idea what the father's story is, other than the fact that he sent stuff.
Yeah.
Which means that, well, that's the problem, because if he did, I guess the Windermerians could have a mail service. Well, just the idea is that he sent stuff to his son, right?
Mm-hmm.
As a soldier. And if he deserted, I don't think it's a crime that you can just, like, keep sending stuff through the mail.
Yeah.
Because Hayate knows his father sent it, so he didn't, like, disguising who he was.
Yeah.
So it has to be a crime that people can hate you for, but isn't a, like, martial offense.
Or what happened was that what Hayate's dad was doing was research. He sent this stuff, then the war happened, and he, Hayate's dad made a decision at that point that sided with the Windermerians. He probably wasn't even stationed in Windermere. Well, just before the whole thing. I mean, there were UN forces there.
Probably would have had to be, because there's a ruin there.
Mm-hmm.
Not stationed, been to.
Yeah.
Was present at.
Yeah. But it's strange because the captain of the ship, Johnson, did want to fight with the Windermerians, and the king, well, the future king, then told him, no, we have to take care of this ourselves. I was like, okay, your choice. Because he always said that he fought for the side that was outgunned, right? Outclassed, right? That he liked those kinds of fights. And it's like, yeah, I trained you. I'm a mercenary. Just hire me and I'll fight for you. And the king went like, no, leave. That's kind of weird.
I'm laughing a little bit because that's a story that Johnson told and wasn't on screen. So you're doing the orator thing of giving people voices that they didn't have in the story. Because Johnson is saying that this is what happened, and he's just telling other people, but then you heard that story, and now you're telling me, and you're like, and then the king was like, no, and I'm like, it's like, you're giving them character that they didn't have in the original story.
Mm-hmm.
Because all we saw of the king was, like, pictures from back then, like, when he was being trained, and apparently he wasn't a good, even though he was a, whatever the title is for their best fighter pilot or something, apparently wasn't that good in training. But apparently that's what you do when you're a story like this, a.k.a. Hayate.
Yeah, a little bit of notes in.
I already said it was my last note.
Yep. That was my last note, too.
All right, well, I guess that's said. Nothing left to do but to get on into it.
But before we get started,
Make sure that you hit the like button.
Hit that subscribe button.
Comment down below to feed that algorithm.
on top of all that, if you want to watch more shows like this,
Unfiltered.
Uncensored.
And uncut.
as well as some early access stuff,
You can check it out over on the Patreon.
It's just $5 a month, but hey, no pressure.
There's zero pressure in order to do that. It's just a little bit of extra support, and it would be greatly appreciated.
I mean, Arad's not confused by this, so he knew ahead of time. Okay. Could have ended the last episode that way. I mean, he says, "Oh, thank you for saving my life." Oh, that's your last name? How can you deal with this kid? Anyways, thank you for saving my life.
親父さんは俺たちと同じパイロットだったパイロット親父がああなんで黙ってたんだよそりゃ
Also, you haven't given a shit about your dad this whole time.
なんだそりゃ
Alright, remember, gotta talk over the opening.
Yeah. But okay, I like the fact it's like, oh, it doesn't matter you say my life. Like what the guy's saying, well, you don't have your father's sins, right? You know, the sins of the father situation. Like I'm not gonna blame you for whatever your dad did.
Okay, well,
but
you know, just going to the
Mulder should know better.
extremes
Yeah.
that we normally do, right? It'd be like if I was in a burning building and you rescued me as a firefighter or something. I was like, oh
Yeah.
God, thank you for saving me. What's your name? And you're like, my name's just Lessons Hitler. I'm like, what? Related to that Hitler? And you're like, yes. I'm like, oh, how can you like turn to the phone? How can you possibly? Anyway, thank you for saving my life. You're not that
grateful.
guy. Yeah, you're not that guy.
but still, you're not still like I, but still, it's problematic.
I've got
You
thoughts
you
about
understand
this.
that, right? Yeah. You understand where I come from? Like, yeah, I get it.
Yeah, but I mean, at
Yeah.
the same point, they didn't end last episode with that. They
Yeah,
left it as this guy being kind of a jerk and like, thank you for
Yeah.
saving my life. Wait, how can you fucking deal with this guy if he's that guy's kid? End
Yeah.
episode. And
Mm.
this time it's like, anyway, thank you for saving my life. Just like,
They
yes,
were
to give the
waiting for that
people,
shocking ending. Yeah.
well, yeah, giving
That's
the
like,
people
ooh,
watching
yeah.
week to week, hey, what the fuck is
Uh-huh.
wrong with this guy? And then bring you back
He's-
on, oh, okay, never mind.
It's not that much of a jerk. Oh, they give her a key power.
お店のお手伝いマリ姉ちゃんの代わり助かるぞいえいえ
Again, I doubt she's dead.
娘ナンバー
Hope not.
看板娘
Again,
悪く
the
ない
blast
響き
wasn't
よ
even
ね
enough to peel the paint off the wall. Like, it didn't even open the door.
動いていた方が
It's-
気が紛れる
She just got knocked into the water, and they sleep in water, remember?
Yeah, in a
Chuck,
bathtub.
yeah, Chuck's bedroom.
する気ありありなんだもんクラゲラーメンおまたさんてねでね
Is he jealous?
実は私にアイディアが何です
Or is he thinking about his dad?
マキナの笑顔ラブリー立ち姿もラブリーそうそうこの微妙なじゃなくて
フレイヤのプロフィールこれが
もしかしてさすがミラミラ
I guess that's another thing I'm going to pause and read.
つまり
This week's going to be filled with pausing and reading.
Yeah.
だからサプライズパーティーってのはどうかな
Also, she's now doing the Minmay thing that was also done in Frontier, right? She's doing the restaurant girl bit.
料理は俺に任せろ
Ugh.
それからそれぞ
I don't
れ
know what was on that plate, but
準備して
Looks like a lot of legs. Hopefully crab legs.
Remember, crustaceans are essentially just insects of the ocean.
Yeah.
そうそう
Why should it feel so uncomfortable? Like,
プレゼントか
Well, also remember there's a duality going on in the show. Hines basically sings and powers up Keith, and Hayate sings, or
ですが
Hayate gets powered up by Freya.
おそらく歌の出力を上げたことが風の歌い手の負担となりすぐに次の行動に出られないのではないかとそうなのよねミクモええ
Until, you know, they invent
以
a
前私
lozenge.
は遺跡を通じ風の歌い手とつながった遺跡があった場所に現れたシステムを使えば
こちらも相手に対抗することができるかも。
I thought that they were going to use one of the ruins. But now that they explained that, I bet that Mikuma's going to get captured in this episode.
敵の目が銀河全体に向いている今こそがチャンスってことか。
はい。ミクモ、
Nice shoe.
さっきはどうもありがとう。
別に深い意味はない。
さあ。で、フレイヤのサプライズパーティー行く？
No.
そうね。考えておくわ。
へえ。考えておくか。
Well, I mean, being a surprise party, Freya can't be disappointed if she's not there. She wouldn't expect her to be. She wouldn't expect the party.
I mean, after, well, she could be disappointed once the surprise is told and she's like, oh, it's everybody here except for,
Except for the one person who's constantly deriding me and then saving me. It's very confusing, but it's a relationship that we have.
女性への誕生日プレゼントですよ。
前このリスト自分の欲しいもの並べただけじゃねえの？
違います。ちゃんとデイジー今月号に載ってたお誕生日で欲しいものアンケートの結果です。
おう。
まったく予算はいくらなんです？そのくらい考えてきたんですよね。
I've literally been freeloading off of everybody. I've got all the money in the world.
I mean, I'm sure he's getting, paid for being a pilot.
Yeah, but I'm saying he doesn't stay as like in the group area all the time.
Yeah.
What's he buying? We've never seen him shop before either.
FedEx, yeah. Instead of FedEx.
Yeah, no, I've been reading the shop names in the background. Like Flying Ragna.
そうね。
これなんかどうだ？かわいい。いや、可愛くない。お前の可愛さに勝てるものはここにはない。
もう、ハヤテのバカ。
Well, they're doing the whole thing. The whole...
なんて充実した休日。
しかし参ったな。あいつ何もらったら喜ぶんだ？
私よりあなたの方がよっぽどフレイヤさんのこと知ってるんじゃ。
そうか？あいつの好きなもの。歌とリンゴ以外わかんねえ。
Get her an apple necklace.
フレイヤさんのこと好きだったりするんですか？
ズバリ直球。
は？何言ってんだ？あいつは単なる友達。
Right behind me, isn't she?
相棒でもないし、仲間。まあなんだな。見てて飽きないっていうか、面白いっていうか。
Yeah, say that in front of the other girl who's actually asking whether you're into her or not.
I mean, it would have been a crazy move for Macross if she just suddenly said, "What about me? Do you like me?"
Yeah.
なんだ、お前の経験談かと思った。
そんなわけないじゃないですか。私は今まで恋愛とかデートとかそんなの。お茶に誘われたことはありますけど。それは多分そういうんじゃ。
これなんかどうかな。
And he's completely blowing her off.
さすがにこれは。
はやはやのニブニブ。
Yes. As a typical male Macross protagonist, he is super dense.
歌の出力をさらに増大させるための実験準備が整いました。新統合軍の全艦隊が集結する前に実行いたします。
That would be a big.
Well, it's probably their entire fleet for this sector or some shit like that.
Yeah.
世の道は全銀河の民を風の歌により。
You never pull in the whole fleet because you leave everything else undefected.
最善策と考える。そうだな、ロイド。
He's full.
我が身を削ることも厭わぬ。
What you said before.
それが陛下。
He said before.
ここは後期と考えてはどうですか？そうですよ。一気に全銀河を御せば。我ら騎士団はウィンダミアの誇りを守るため、この翼を黒く染め戦うと誓ったんですから。
だが、それはあくまでも新統合軍との間のこと。
I think they brought up like we dyed our wings black like 5 times in the last 1.5 episodes.
白騎士様はどうお考えなのか。お前と同じだ。子供の頃のあいつはリンゴが好きでな。飛行訓練の後は
いつも絞りたてのリンゴジュースをうまいうまいと言って飲んでいた。
He was real weird that way.
そういうことだ。
戦争まだまだ続くんやね。30年に一度の星座が近づい
It's just weird to me when main characters state the blindingly obvious.
Yeah.
They just like did a whole declaration on a galaxy-wide thing. That's weird.
これなんか
Oh, he's about to do the falling through sky thing?
Apparently, yeah.
Because the people weren't fading away, just the world around
腹
them.
減ったからかな。ちょっとクラクラしちまった。
Yeah, to be fair, it does look like a diabetic
ですか
thing.
それ。
Or it could feel like that too, you know, getting dizzy, lightheaded.
ミクモさん
Because that's what seems like happens. They get vertigo when they go falling through the sky.
故郷を思い出していたの。
なんだかここで星を見ていたら
ウィンダミアの風はまるで氷のつぶて。頬に受けると痛みを覚え
No, this is stupid. It
How do
might
you know
ruin,
that? Yeah.
This is stupid. It might ruin the whole scene, but I would love if she handed her a birthday invite
あなた
and then ripped it in front of her. Like the tear.
ない
Do the hero
Kill
you
you.
thing? Yeah.
さ
Yeah.
Well, Makuma seems like a character that could do that.
どこまでも飛んでいく。歌は星を駆け巡り、そして消化する。
We're gonna go on a whole Song of the Spheres thing.
ほら、
Well, that seems to be what's going, what this is all being based on, basically.
Because all
All
the
the way back to
ruins,
Frontier.
just an amplification for the Song of the
お金ないのに
Spheres.
おごってもらっちゃって
Yeah, in Fault Space.
散々付き
I always like the concept of the Song of the Spears. The
That's what I'm
Spheres.
saying. The whole cluster is just literally a protoculture music device.
Could be.
お父様もパイロットだったなんてすごい偶然ですよね。
まあ
It literally is a coincidence.
どうしたんです
So I
か
don't know the guy.
な。なんつうか
Yeah.
さ、今までいろんな星に行っていろんなことをやってきて、でもどれもこれも違うって感じがして、で、ようやく見つかったって思ったことが親父と同じだったわけだろ。なんだよ、結局同じ道かよって感じでさ。
でもあなたがパイロットの道を選んだのはお父様のことを知る前だったんですよね。
No, I knew I had a father before I knew
だ
who
っ
he
たら関
was.
係ないじゃないですか。
No,
I
he knew
didn't think
that.
I was like
あな
Jesus
た
or
はあなた
something.
の道を選んだだけです。
I think she meant that knew about his father being a fighter
自
pilot.
分は自分ってことか。
ええ。でも確かに
Oh, you're the
そう簡
writer's
単には
man.
割り切れませんよね。
For better or worse.
だな。
We're under attack.
ミラージュ、今日はいろいろサンキューな。
プレゼントは
50% discount.
ウィンダミアの奴らがこんな映像を。
They were
あ
there.
の事実が
It's their
公表され
planet.
る日は案外近いのかも。
Yeah, but it's supposed to be that.
あのことをハヤテには分かってる。だがいつま
Oh,
で
so
も
his dad
隠し
was the
通さを
one that did the bombing?
だろうな。
It paints him in a different light from the discussion we had.
Yeah.
寝てる好きだらけ
Okay, now I'm confused if his dad was the one flying that mission.
I mean, I didn't get that, so I assumed that you saw something I didn't, but, you know, we rewatched the episodes anyway.
お料理はオッケー。アラド隊長サボらない。
The hell was that, a fucking turkey?
あと少し。
I don't know.
ハヤテは何してるんだ
I think she was carrying a turkey. I mean, we've never seen normal ass food before, so.
Yeah.
ターゲット確認到着まで300秒
Oh, so cute. Wow, that's a whole cake?
No, I think that's just a pillar in the middle of the room. The cake was a squarish thing, like a normal ass cake.
真っ黒ただいまみんな
Gozaimasu.
んかね 日
But my birthday was 2 months ago.
今日私の誕生日忘れてたの？いやこの2、3年誕生日のたびに村長さんからはよ結婚せえって言われて
Again with that story?
Again, I don't think it's a lie.
Yeah.
I think I called her a liar really early on, and you like hooked in with me, and then I changed my mind, and you never did.
もう
One of those is a cell
みんなから
phone.
のプレゼント
She already has one. She has never paid the contract, though. That's the thing. Ami Kumo. Oh, his shirt.
さん
Well, shirt dress thing.
激レア
I love the fact that she does the double name thing for everybody.
Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you.
So they can't get us on copyright if we do it this way.
I don't think there's a copyright on Happy Birthday.
Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you.
I think this is just a future version of that song.
I was just thinking every time they sing something to Freya, is it that special to hear the people you sing with just about every day singing to you?
消して
Well, we meant right now. But I guess people had time to think about it. What did he get her? That requires shipping.
子供から
2 boxes.
人が始まってけどうちの村は田舎やったから大したことはなかったけど
How much you want to bet it's 2 boxes
で
of
もやっぱり
apples?
大変で
Oh.
そんな
Yeah,
頃
the same apples.
私は地球の音楽に出会ったんよお父さんが風に召された時もお母さんが風
Oh,
に
the
召され
house
た
was
時も
burned down.
辛い思いも寂しい思いも悲しい気持ちもどれもこれも楽しい歌や明るい歌がパーって吹き飛ばしてくれてなんかようわからんけど歌ってすごいって思っただからオーディションがあるって聞いてどうしてもワルキューレになりたいって思ってそしたらオーディションに受かって私本に嬉しくて
何やってたんですか？
ちょっとな
Well, her rune's not glowing up or floating off of her head.
ウィンダミア人にとって人生の折り返しになる大切なこの日を
He's middle age.
こんな素敵なフリフリ私みんなに出会えてぶっちゃ幸せですこれからも悔いのないようずっとずっと歌い続けます
Hey, no gang signs in the bar.
私も会えてよかったよよしよし
それじゃあパーティー
Now's not the time, Mirage.
お
It's not your day, it's her day.
なんだ
You had your chance earlier today or yesterday.
雪
Did he make it snow? Was that his thing?
雪
Yeah.
雪狩り
よ
遅れてたのはこれを
I'm confused why he would know to do this. She's never described snow. In her flashbacks, we've seen it. But she's never physically said anything about it. Physically. She never said anything about it.
ハッピーバースデーレイヤ
Ah, punch in the face.
悪いな遅くなって
あれもしかしてこの雪颯が降らせて
まあな、俺からのプレゼントってことで。
ありがとう、颯。
気に入ったか？
めっちゃゴリゴリ。
ルンピッカピカ。
Don't touch it.
Didn't stop him.
そっと瞳閉じて願い事を一つ言わない。
Yeah, she's jealous, all right.
Oh, for some reason, I thought this would have been a perfect moment for a long, long goodbye.
Oh, you gotta come up with new music, you know? Especially for this show, it's all...
I spent
It's
the
a
last
show,
20
it's
to
all
30
about-
years listening to the same songs over and over again.
They probably pull it off somewhere else.
I mean, it's been a long time since I've heard My Boyfriend is a Pilot.
True. Oh. These two. Although I think she's still getting
I don't know the
over
last
the
time I
fact
heard
that
a song that said God bless you in the middle of it. Ah, right in the rune. It was a weird moment. It's like in a movie transition scene. Like,
来たのね。どんなものか知りたかったから。
before I die.
私、誕生日って祝ってもらった覚えがないの。
I know I keep saying my theory that she's a protoculture immortal or whatever, but I think I also threw out there before that she could be a Windermerian, that she could be close to death, and that could be the thing.
つうかさ、親父ってどんな人だった？
He was a real asshole.
パイロットだった。俺は随分世話になったよ。
And a mass murderer. He was a good guy, but...
優しすぎる人だったよ。
So the God bless you
Okay.
thing again. You can be real kind and still do horrible things.
Yeah.
Your personal opinions on matters doesn't affect what you're responsible for doing. Yeah,
I mean,
I know.
it
I
would guide you
literally
while you-
brought this up at the very beginning. Ultima 6. The Avatar is responsible essentially for the Gargoyle genocide. God, Ultima was a good series. Up until 8? I'm going to say 7
Yeah.
almost. 8, I'm going to put it on 8.
Oh, 7. 7 was pretty good. 7, I think, was the highest point.
No. 4 was the highest point. Quest of the Avatar. 5 was pretty good. Blackthorn was a good villain.
So 15, so she's lived to 30, so she's middle age.
That's what she said.
Yeah. And the romantic triangle. Yep.
How very SDF Macross.
私、なんで？
Because he couldn't put any effort in.
Well, he didn't.
No, she didn't. She
That's
hid
true.
behind a thing on her pad, listening to them talk.
Infection on stage. Oh, that's great.
Again, I still think it's going to be Makumo. Anyway, she hid behind a thing, listening to them talk. She had the opportunity. She had every opportunity in the world, and she's not very good expressing her emotions outwardly, to the point that Freya, who wears her emotions on her sleeves, just happenstance does it all the time.
I mean, I think it's also she reads his emotions like he's not interested. Like that's why he asked her, like, oh, you know, how do you know Freya? It's like, well, you know, she's special, blah, blah. And it's like, oh, okay. Well, I'm not going to invest in here if there's no chance. It's
No,
okay,
it doesn't matter.
understand. It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Have you not watched any Macross before? Like, I don't know what you mean. What do you mean it doesn't matter? Her words don't mean what she says.
I'm not getting it. I'm drawing a blank here. What do you mean by that?
that she wants what she wants despite what she says.
Okay,
or
no,
expresses.
but I
You're
think the
seeing
reason
from the
why
outside, you're not in her head. She's not thinking thoughts that we can hear.
true, but what we're seeing is that she asked. He says, "Well, I'm more interested." The way she's thinking probably is that he's demonstrated that he's more interested in her. It's like, well, I guess I stay in the sidelines. That's what she's not.
My problem is that you've already expressed that you understand it's a love triangle. And you've seen every other love triangle in every Macross. Literally, I don't even have to say that we've seen so far. Every other Macross is every other Macross. We've seen every Macross up till now. So you understand how this works. We don't have to break down what she might be doing to get herself out of the love triangle. She's not. She's in fact now lamenting the fact that she let it go. She ain't out of it. You know, she's still in it. Because I don't think this is going to be the first time someone says, "Oh, he's happier with her. I better just go now." It's never happened before. It'd be weird for Macross to come up with a new love triangle dynamic.
Or dispense with it altogether.
Well, no, I'm saying that's all they've done so far is the same elements over and over again. And then this show very specifically feels like it is just repeating elements from all the other shows. So I don't think they're going to create something new. This is going to be the original.
SEF Macross?
No, the original Idol.
Name in May?
Yeah, she's just going to do the Min-May thing after Hikaru decides that she's better off with
Misa.
No, she's better off with Misa? No, she's not better off with Misa. Min-May and Misa don't hook up. What are you talking about?
No, Hikaru is better off with Misa.
I said that Hikaru decides that she's better off with, and you said Misa. Hikaru decides that she's better off with Misa? No.
No, that would, what's his name? The jackass.
Typhoon, yeah, but I was going to say Typhoon, with her brother. I can't remember what he is to her. Cousin,
yeah.
Yeah, that she's better off with her cousin. And then Min-May has this whole teary thing going on, like Mirage does now. That Mirage is the Min-May of this. Except for the fact that Hayate didn't have a thing for her. As far as I can tell. You know, where Hikaru had a thing for Min-May from the beginning.
Yeah.
That Hayate doesn't have a thing for Mirage.
For Mirage,
the letters even line up. I guess to be fair, they all would because it's Misa and Min-May, so it's all M's.
Yeah.
It just doesn't line up here because it's Freya.
Yeah. I have to Hikaru, Mirage, Misa, and Min-May.
Yeah, to say the M's would always line up because it was a HMM thing going on, but not so much here.
Yeah. So nice episode, but I feel that it's a filler episode. Like, oh, we should be working to something. It's like, no, we're just gonna do the birthday thing.
I don't think it was a filler episode. I think it's a good emotional episode. The early episodes were filler episodes. Like, after we've already established the characters, we don't need additional episodes establishing characters.
No, that's true.
Whereas this, at least, you know, plays on the love triangle element.
But I think it's too early, so whatever Mikuma is planning is definitely gonna backfire.
No, I think the next episode is gonna be the Mikuma thing.
Yeah, it's gonna backfire horribly.
Well, no, I don't think it's gonna be the plan. I think whatever is going on with her is gonna be revealed next episode. Not whatever her plan was, but like, I think the infection is gonna be her, and that she's sorry. I know this is completely opposite to my she's protoculture thing, but as I've been spitting out here before, she's in my head. She's one of three things: protoculture, Windemirian, or dying of something. I think the infection isn't going to be Vars syndrome on stage. I think it's going to be she's been distant and everything like this because she knows the end is coming. Again, one of three. I'd probably closer to the protoculture thing. The fact that she's not covered in white. I guess they wouldn't do that to a woman, would they?
No.
So, protoculture or dying.
Yeah, got it.
I can't do the Walkir one-handed thing, so clearly that wasn't happening either.
I don't know how they do it either, so never mind.
Sorry, every time both of us look down to try and do it on one hand, it very much feels like we just watched a high school health report, and we're like, oh god, this is all very confusing.
Yeah. Yeah, so this was this episode. Interesting. To me, felt a little bit like filler, but that was just, it was 16 of how many? 24? No, 34.
No.
How many?
It's 20 something. I don't remember. I know it's not 30 something. So
no, it's not 30. Yeah.
We're closer to the end than the beginning.
I think I have to double check.
I mean, I could check. I'm just not going to. I just don't care. It's like 26 or 24. So I don't remember which one.
26. So we're 10 episodes to go.
All right. Well, that has been a Macross Delta. So once again, I've been Theta. This has been Lessons. We've been Stoneface Reactions, and we will catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stoneface Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe and let us know what you thought about this video, what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?